Good morning class. I think you all are fit and fine. Today I am going to teach you class 7 chapter geography, that is chapter number 4, air. Here I am going to tell you, first you should know that what is air. Air is the mixture of different gases. These different gases are nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, etc. Okay. Children, you all know that on the Earth's surface, everywhere there is air, and our Earth is surrounded with blanket of air that is called atmosphere. So, first of all, I am going to telling the composition of atmosphere. Here you can see that our atmosphere is comprises with three things, that is air, water vapor and dust particles. These all are present all the time in the atmosphere. So first of all I am going to tell you air. Just I have told that air is the mixture of different gases. These different gases are nitrogen, that is 78.03% in the atmosphere. Oxygen, that is 20.99% in the atmosphere. Third one gas is the argon, that is 0.94%. Then carbon dioxide, CO2, 0.03%. Then other gases, that is 0.01%. Total gases is the 100%. That is the accurate percentage of the gases in the atmosphere. Okay. These all gases that you see that nitrogen is a plentiful gas which is not directly used by plants. Nitrogen is used by plants. In some of the plants, they having the bacteria that is called rhizobium. These bacteria absorb nitrogen and convert them into nitrate that is utilized by green plants. Argon. Third one gas is the argon, that is neutral gas, and the next gas is the carbon dioxide, that is very less in quantity, but carbon dioxide is very important gas. Carbon dioxide is utilized by green plants to prepare their food during the photosynthesis process. Okay. Green plants take carbon dioxide and to make their food and release oxygen. But carbon dioxide in the nature, they have also another importance, that they trap the heat of the sun and keep the earth warm. This is why carbon dioxide is also called greenhouse gas. But when the carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere, they trap more and more heat of the sun and causes global warming. So the quantity of carbon dioxide in the nature should be maintained. Okay. Now I am coming to the next. My next topic is the structure of atmosphere. So I am going to discuss the next topic, that is structure of atmosphere. To understand the structure of atmosphere, first of all I am going to make you a diagram. Suppose children, this is our earth. And this is the equatorial part, and this is the polar part. And you all know that all around the earth there is a blanket of air that is called atmosphere. This is the atmosphere. If we are taking the cross section of the atmosphere from pole to equator, we are getting the different layers. These different layers are the 5 layers we have divided. These different layers are called the structure of atmosphere or layers of atmosphere. That we can understand by this diagram. You see here that the atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. The first layer is the troposphere. Its height is 8 km above the pole and 18 km above the equator. But its average height is 12 km. Between 12 to 13.5 km there is a transition zone called tropopause. And from 13.5 kilometer to 32 kilometer is the stratosphere. 32 to 80 kilometer of the height is mesosphere or ozonosphere, and from 680 to 650 kilometer of height the layer is called thermosphere or ionosphere, and from 650 kilometer to above around about 1600 kilometer exosphere is lies. Troposphere is the first layer, that is all the natural phenomena like rain, like storm, like cloud, all occurs in this sphere. In this sphere, there is one more important fact, that when we go up 165 meter up, 1 degree Celsius temperature decreases. This is called temperature lapse rate. In the stratosphere, the temperature is in minus and no cloud is there, quite calm area. This is good for flying the jet planes. This third one layer is the ozonosphere, which is very important sphere because ozone gas present here. This ozone gas absorbs the ultraviolet rays, that is very harmful sun rays, and protect us from the UV rays of the sun. And the fourth one layer is the ionosphere. In this ionosphere, there are radioiodized particles are found. This helps in the transmission of the radio waves, and due to this the communication has been developed. And the last one is the exosphere. As we go up, temperature increases rapidly and the lighter gases are found like hydrogen and helium. So these are the structure of atmosphere. Now my next topic is weather and climate. Weather and climate. Okay, children, first of all you have to know what is weather. Weather is hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere, and climate is the average weather condition of a place over a long period of time. This long period of time may be around 35 years. Okay, so when we understand about the weather, we see that weather is affected by the two things, that is temperature and moisture. Temperature and moisture. Moisture, that is also called rainfall. And the temperature of a place, you all know that children, temperature of a place not even at the place all the time. In the morning you see that temperature is low, and as the day rises the temperature increases. So you should know that at 5:30 am the minimum temperature is recorded, and at 2:30 pm the maximum temperature is recorded. So this temperature is changing all the time. So weather is changeable and the weather is changing all the time. It may be different types of weather in the same day. Okay, but this temperature is varying since morning to evening or night. It affected by the one of the things that is called insolation. Insolation. Okay, children. So what is insolation? Insolation is made by the three words: insolation, incoming solar radiation. Okay, incoming solar radiation. Children, you know that the sun is the ultimate source of energy in the atmosphere, and whatever the energy coming from the sun, that is absorbed by the earth, and the earth release this heat, and then the atmosphere become warm. So this insolation is not coming on the earth's surface equally. You can understand this insolation by this diagram. This is our earth. This is the equator. This is the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north, and this is Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south. This is the polar region, North Pole, and this is South Pole. Okay. Children, you know that the sun's vertical rays falls between tropics, Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. So this region receives the maximum amount of heat as the vertical rays provide more heat, and as from equator towards pole we move, the sun rays become slanting, and the sun's rays as become slanting, they have to cover up more areas, and the heat we feel that is less. So this is why equatorial region having the warm region, warm area, and as we go from the equator towards poles, the temperature decreases. Okay, so this we see that the temperature and the insolation, amount of insolation is not equal on the Earth's surface. Children, to understand the weather and the climate, we also utilize many instruments. These instruments are utilized to understand the weather and the climate. Some of the instruments are, that is thermometer. Thermometer is an instrument that is used to measure the temperature of place, temperature of air. Barometer. Barometer is another instrument that is utilized to measure the pressure of air. Okay. Third one is the rain gauge. The rain gauge is the instrument that is utilized to measure the amount of rainfall occurs at a place. Wind vane is the instrument that is utilized to measure the direction of wind, that in which direction the wind is coming, we understand by this instrument called wind vane. An anemometer tells the speed of wind, that what is the speed of wind, that we study by anemometer. Another instrument is hygrometer that measures the amount of moisture present in the air. So these all are the instruments that helps to understand weather and climate.